Good afternoon, everyone. We're getting ready to start our webinar, Skills Attraction, Important for Businesses. We're just setting up the live feed to social media, so we'll be with you shortly. Welcome to this webinar today. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about a number of matters relative to skills attraction, important for business. I think it all starts with the power of meaningful work. Even though the unemployment rate in Australia has slightly increased from the record low of 3.5% up to 3.7% in the last couple of weeks, there's still a very tight labour market, and businesses are telling us all over Australia there's a shortage of candidates. So the situation is still very challenging for business operators trying to get the right team members. Now, this equally applies to accountants in your businesses as what it does to your clients. So in today's webinar, I'm going to talk about the relevance to both accountants and to your clients. And hopefully you will be able to communicate with your clients about these things. Businesses are struggling to attract, to hire, and to retain staff. Some employers are offering pay rises and people are moving, so that then requires the original employer to go back out and try to hire new people, or alternatively, they have to look at strategies to retain staff. The skills shortage and talent retention concerns is stifling growth for firms because there's a lot of time being spent with new people and retraining them. In the Thomson Reuters White Paper that was released about 5 weeks ago, titled Leading Australian SMEs in 2023's Changing Economy, all of this was described as a key hurdle for business, a hurdle that businesses need to overcome if they are going to be a dynamic business in 2023 and 24, because all indications are that these problems of talent attraction and retention are going to continue through at least the next financial year. And some people are saying beyond that as well. So I think businesses and accountancy firms in particular need to answer this question. Is your firm or business offering services that are interesting and challenging enough for your team? Think about it. Are your team actively involved and keen to do the work? And this is the sort of conversation that you could have with your clients as well, because it's not just directed at accountants, of course. Services being offered is one of the key differentiators relating to the attraction of team members and retention of team members. Why? Because people are looking for some variety in their work. Andrew Geddes, who is the joint founder of the Financial Management Research Centre at the University of New England, some time ago now, and was also a top 200 ASX company chair, gave this response to accountants. Firms need to vary the work being allocated to team members not just relegate them to the same task all day, every day. And the same would apply to your clients in their businesses. Partners should take less experienced accountants with them when they make client visits, attend client board meetings or boards of advice meetings, so that that inexperienced accountant can observe the reaction between the partner of the firm and the client as they discuss a wide range of business issues. They don't teach this to graduates at universities, and I don't think the professional year or process really gets down to this nitty-gritty, this very important concept of how communications are conducted within accountancy firms with clients. And the same attitude could be utilised with your clients. How do they train their inexperienced people in their organisation to communicate with customers and other people? So this is an important question. And I've just said that a similar approach could be made in virtually every other business. I think businesses need to be encouraging their experienced team members to mentor less experienced team members in the business relationship, how this communication works, how you talk the talk to a prospect and to a customer to hopefully get them to buy more products from you. This is the power of meaningful work in process, because article after article is indicating that we really need this process to occur to keep the team committed, to be able to attract them in the first place, because they've heard on the grapevine about what a great experience it is to work with whatever accounting firm or business, and then to keep them involved as part of the retention cycle by continuing to offer them interesting work, challenging work, to mentor and train them in these new skills that they have to learn. That's what will keep them involved. So what do surveys tell us? Team members tell us that purposeful, meaningful work is an important driver attached to job satisfaction and retention. So it's not just Andrew Geddes and myself talking on this. This is major surveys getting done around the world, that the purpose of work is important. And it's an important driver and will help your clients attract and retain staff. The level of team member turnover is an important key performance indicator that should be looked at by the leadership team, boards of advice, boards of directors every month, so that they can have a feel for what's happening. Because if there's a turnover above the industry average, the leadership team or directors and advice board members have got to be asking the question, why? What's wrong? What's not working? Aren't we mentoring and training our team? Aren't we creating opportunities for them? Pulse surveys are a very popular approach to getting continual feedback on various issues. And if you've got clients not using this methodology, you should talk to them. There's quite a number of suppliers available in the marketplace, because the feedback should be giving information to the leadership team promptly every week as to how people feel, so that if there's need for changes or slight improvements in various areas, this can be looked at and implemented, not in a year's time. This is a bit like delivering virtual chief financial officer services, isn't it? Because ESS BIZTOOls proposition to you is that it needs to be delivered 52 weeks of the year. and evaluating pulse surveys and what people are telling you, exit interviews if someone does leave, needs to be done there and then reported immediately to the leadership team at their next weekly meeting, so that action can be taken. Not in 12 months' time, but now. Of course, otherwise you may have a run on people leaving and going to somewhere else. It can cause big problems, not only in accountancy firms, but in your clients' businesses. Businesses should be promoting their purposes and values, because team members connect with those declarations of purpose. And sorry, I didn't bring up the slides properly there before. But that's very important. And we touched on that a little bit earlier. What's the purpose of the business? Now, your client and indeed your accounting firm can be communicating that through newsletters to team members only, giving them updates, telling them what's happening, so that they've got an appreciation that they're part of the knowledge of what's going on in this business. Give details of new customers that have joined them, so that there can be a celebration. Perhaps a particular team member may know that business or be a customer of that business, so they can say thank you for coming to our firm or to our business, get your supplies from. Businesses which have a purpose-driven agenda have found that the agenda plays a valuable role in attracting and retaining staff. So how do you do that? Well, you can include material on your website, and many businesses and some accountancy firms do. They promote what their team training sessions are about. They promote for businesses what their services for their business clients are about, so that people understand what this firm's strategies are. Team members have recorded that they appreciate additional incentives and recognition of their contribution through difficult periods such as COVID-19. It might be some movie tickets. It might be drinks on a Friday afternoon. It could be a range of activities, but it's showing some appreciation. Some businesses have provided gift vouchers and other products and services as a show of appreciation for services rendered. Is your firm doing that, or would you recommend that to your clients to look at? Improving the work environment is another key issue when we're looking at this overall problem of skills attraction, important for businesses. Some businesses have focused on intensive review of job design and the impact that this has on the team member. It's an interesting exercise for accountants to go out to one of your clients and stand in the factory and observe what's happening. I've done that a number of times and been there when experts in factory layout and processing have been conducting a mentoring or training session for the factory workers. And it's quite amazing what comes out. Where's the stock of material that this particular team member is going to want to use in the next 8 hours? Or is he or she got to walk back to a storeroom that's 140 meters away to get their supplies every hour or so? Or do they run out of nuts or bolts or those types of components, every 30 minutes, and have to walk back to the supply area to get it? All that's a great waste of time. So management needs to be encouraged to have a good look at the job design and the working environment. Can the worker stand there and basically just reach out their hands and grab the next component that they need in whatever they're making, whatever they're assembling? Improved job design has contributed to improved job satisfaction and increase levels of retention among team members, because they feel as if someone's listening to them, watching what they're doing, and saying, geez, we can improve that work environment there. Why don't we shift the team members around? Because what team member A produces is got to get passed on to team member B, but B's stuck at one other end of the factory. So someone's got to carry that component down to them. Just needs some forethought going in. And all this adds to the enjoyment, the satisfaction of coming to work, according to the surveys. Now, you could look at the same set of questions relative to improving the working environment within your accounting firms. Where are all the staff situated in the layout? Is the team together, or is it scattered throughout an office? I think there needs to be more thought given to this than what we previously have probably done. There's a massive talent shortage in Australia, said the CEO of one of the companies that was introduced by Thomson Reuters. The closing of our borders for 2 years has had a major impact. So we need to be aware that this is all affecting us. Smaller businesses will find it difficult to compete head-to-head with large corporations and government departments. Not always, but in most cases they will find it difficult. So the emphasis should be on improving the work environment, making sure things flow, making sure there's proper training, how to use new computers or new tools or new processes that have been introduced to one of your clients utilising factories. Look at the communication with team members. Do they understand what's been sent to them? I had experience in the meat industry as a chief financial officer and company secretary, and I found that a large number of our foremen didn't really understand the key performance indicator reports they were receiving every day. Something as fundamental as the KPIs. They were just throwing them into the rubbish bin. Because I turned up one day in my innocence, and I was fairly new, and said, now, have you got any other items you'd like added to the key performance indicator reports? And they said, the what? And I described them to them. They said, we don't know them. So I produced one, and they said, oh, yeah, we get that every day, but we don't know what it means. Someone's told us what it all means. Doesn't mean anything to me. So I went back at lunchtime to their smoko room and said, can we have a discussion? While you munch your sandwiches, can we talk? And I got a whiteboard and we set it up. Now, what would you like to know? And what don't you understand about this KPI form? I said, well, can we call it something else other than a KPI form? Can we call it what it relates to? Whether it's the slaughter floor, the boning room, or the byproducts area, or whatever. And then describe in meat workers' terms what those things are, not some fancy accounting type description. So that's what we did. And then we got some suggestions a week or so later. Why don't we add this? Why don't we change this? So they got some ownership. They got involved. I think this is improving work environment and the communication with team members. Think about it. In your clients' businesses, when you go in and start offering chief financial officer services, I hope, make sure that the reports are understood. You're not talking to other accountants, and don't use the jargon. Break it down to the language they understand. I think reacting to pulse surveys, staff suggestions, and exit interviews are very important. Exit interviews are a very important function in this whole process, because if you're ever going to get an honest answer, it's going to be when someone's leaving the business, whether it's the accounting firm or one of your clients' firms. So a person in the organisation who has not been directly involved with the person leaving, unless it's a very small firm, of course, should conduct the exit interview. Why? Because there might be some embarrassment or resentment or in dealing with the person that's been their line supervisor. may have contributed to their decision to want to leave. And businesses need a training mentor plan for inexperienced team members so that they quickly build up their understanding of the business, not sitting there for 2 or 3 years. Today's younger people will not cop that. They're looking for job experience. They're looking for the payment for it so they can have some fun as well. But they're looking for that experience that helps them on their progress. And if you want to retain them for more than a short period of time, we have to ensure that that is supplied to them. And this is the satisfaction out of an interesting job. So developing a training, a mentor plan is something that I think you should be discussing with your clients and within your own accounting firm. Takeaways for you to advise clients and perhaps your own firm. Talent leadership is in the front lines of every major change businesses are experiencing right now. It's very hard to plan a new extension of your business unless you know you can adequately supply the team that's going to be necessary to run that new business or that new operation, that new process. Businesses need to recognize, if they don't already do so, that they are in the people business. That was a quote I got from an article I read the other night. This is the people business. And with very low unemployment rates, they are still difficult to obtain. Through the implementation of a strategy of introducing inexperienced team members to services that are interesting and challenging. This is one of the real issues that we've been raising for some time now with accountancy firms, based on comments made by Andrew Geddes. The concept of having a graduate join a firm and basically all they're going to be involved in is with taxation returns is a contributing factor, I think, to accountants having attraction and retention issues. Andrew Geddes suggests that there should be some variety. Firms should first of all have diversified your services so that there is some different work going on in the firm. And a graduate should be shown around these other areas because we all need to determine what real work skills we want to use in our working lives. Do we want to be a business advisor? Do we want to be a tax return preparer, basically? Do we want to be a tax advisor? Understanding the intimate details of the law that we can advise businesses. So people need to have that job experience. Offer competitive compensation and benefits packages, not only salary. What else could be put into the mix to make the team member happy? Implement ongoing team training and mentoring programs, at least on a monthly basis. Staff training, maybe called another name, mentoring, coaching. These things should be delivered not spasmodically, but as part of a specific plan to enrich inexperienced team members with industry knowledge and knowledge about how their firm operates, how it all clicks together, why certain things are being done, to give them a better understanding of how it all works, an understanding that they're part of this team and they're just not some extra that's on the fringes. They're part of it. They've got a proper role to perform. That's important. Foster a positive company culture or business culture. The work environment should be enjoyable and rewarding. This will make them more likely to remain with the business and to positively recommend the business to their acquaintances. Many of them will probably be accountants if we're looking at accountancy firms or We're looking at a tradie organisation, possibly other tradies. So they're people that might well be attracted to your accounting firm or to the business. Provide flexible work arrangements. Now, this is a debatable area at present, I know, with flexible work hours, remote working, job sharing. Now, job sharing is quite popular in some firms. Work hours, if they can be made flexible, they possibly should be. Remote working, there's some organisations are now demanding that people are going to be back in their offices for at least 3 days a week. Some cases 5 days. That's up to the individual firm to decide, but if you're not going to allow some of these things, my suggestion is that there's a communication to the team so they know why. Show appreciation for team members, recognise and reward team members for their contributions to the business. Create a positive image for the firm so that the business gains a reputation in the marketplace amongst university students, tradies, at tech colleges, and through general promotions that it's a good place to work, because businesses and accounting firms have got to be far more in the face of potential employees these days to attract talent and then to retain talent. Some of us might complain that it wasn't like that in previous years. That's probably false. It's always been there. It's just far more a very important requirement these days. I think your organisation, whether it's an accounting firm or a business, should be aspiring as being a great training organisation, and one that inexperienced team members, whether they're accountants or tradies or salespeople, are allocated a career path for them to become more experienced, because they're going to be part of the training and mentoring program that the firm's introduced. And I think accountants and businesses should be promoting this training program on their website so that potential team members can view that and say, gee, I want to be part of this. I want to join an organisation that does this on an ongoing basis. Do you talk to your team about encouraging other people to join them? I've seen situations where bonuses are paid for your current team members if they can suggest one of their mates applies for a position in a firm. If they're accepted, there's a headhunter type bonus paid. Leaders need to set the scene in all this, not only planning everything we've just talked about, but then to lead with a calm, human-centered and data-driven perspective. And at times you've got to block out the noise of what's going on around you, so you focus on what's truly matters. And team member success is very important, because businesses do need team members. They're the base. They're the ones that are making the sales or generating the revenue. So team member success is not choosing between improving the team member experience or maximizing performance or building a magnetic culture. It's about all of it, the whole picture. Everything must be brought together if this is going to be successful for your accountancy firm or your clients' firms. Not something that just gets switched on and off when there's a job vacancy or we've got to go and get someone else. It should be an ongoing thing, and that will help with the talent retention issue. So we want to help you at ESS BIZTOOLS And the time to commence this whole process, which is part of business advisory services, I really believe is before the 30th of June 2023. And there's not long to go, is there? We've got about 35, 36 days. And if you cut it back to working days, it's probably only about 28 or 29. Because if you don't do something by the 30th of June 23, I don't think you'll look at it again for another year, because you'll say you're too busy. And in one of our presentations next week, in fact, our Are You Going to Participate webinar, which is on Wednesday, the 31st of May, we're going to talk about some of these issues. What can you do to free up yourself to be able to help your clients with the issues that they have? And according to Thomson Reuters White Paper, and generally by just reading the newspapers and watching the TV, we all know that there's a lot of businesses either currently in strife or are very close to it, and unfortunately over the next year, with high interest rates, high inflation, they may become into serious problems. In today's press, there's articles about more building companies failing. The articles about the building companies themselves and some of the suppliers, like plumbing supply contractors. But what other businesses are caught up in this because their bills are not going to get paid by those building companies? There's a lot of issues for SME clients to get advice on. Now, if they were bigger businesses, they would have an in-house CFO who would be asked to be involved in trying to solve issues for those companies. But most of you have probably got no clients with chief financial officers working for them. This is an opportunity for you to supply those roles. Using today's technology, today's software, communications, you could offer this service to clients situated virtually anywhere in Australia. To do this, you may have to free up some time. You may have to look at your tax return clients and say, well, if they're just wage earner returns clients, and we have an opportunity of undertaking business advisory services, let's politely sell them off to another accountant who really only wants to concentrate on wage earner tax returns, salary tax returns, and very small businesses. Get some money for them, or outsource the work. So most of it's done in an overseas country, so that the time is freed up in your firm to be able to handle business advisory services, which presents interesting and challenging work. ESS BIZTOOLS wants to assist. We have set a real target internally of the number of new subscribers we want to attract before the 30th of June 2023 as part of our contribution to helping the Australian accountancy industry respond to this challenge of being able to supply outstanding services to SME clients that assist them to survive during this very difficult trading period that we are now in. So our special prices, we have a special offer for launching advisory. Our advanced package, which includes everything that we've produced at ESS BIZTOOLS, normal price is $6,500, including GST. We've reduced that to $2,799, including GST, to encourage accountants to take the step. You can't get started till you take the step. And I think you need to have subscribed to a package that ESS BIZTOOLS has developed if you are going to even think about taking the step. Unless you've got about 1,000 hours spare time to sit down and write the material yourself. We've got it, you can get it for only $2,799. You should be able to recover that in the first couple of weeks of billing to your clients as you embark on these services. In our webinar next week, I'm going to share some of the material that Andrew Geddes provided in the podcast we recorded last week. And one of them is an actual proposal that was prepared for a client a few days before the podcast by one of Andrew's accounting firm clients. And the bill was $31,850 for a range of services over a 12-month period. Only $8,800 of that related to the accounting's reports. The rest of it was business advisory services. How many clients have you got that service could be offered to? That firm has quite a number of them. We also have the starters package. Now, this is for very small firms, sole practitioners that just want to get started. In fact, Andrew Geddes also comments about a sole practitioner firm. There's 4 staff, a couple of which are part-time. The partner, owner, has organised herself so that most of her time is spent on business advisory services. She's got 12 major clients she's offering the virtual CFO service to, and her 4 employed accountants handle the income tax returns and associated work. It's a great setup. We're going to share some of that information during our social media posts over the next week. So you can do it. What both of those firms did was moved on the lower fee income work of wage earners and salary earner tax returns. They sold those clients off to a practitioner starting out, wanted the experience, wanted to get started, wanted the cash flow, so that they freed up the time to bring their skills and knowledge. And both of them, as it transpired, are clients of ESS BIZTOOLS. So they were using our material to deliver these services. I didn't know that when Andrew Geddes started talking about them, but that is what he then revealed. So to subscribe to our packages, go to www.essbiztools.com.au and click on subscription, please, and you'll then be able to see the whole process. Subscribe and you'll be utilising our material within a few days. If you want to know more, why don't go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, to familiarise yourself with the packages that we are offering. Or if you want to have a Zoom meeting with me, why not send me an email and ask for a Zoom meeting, and we'll work out a day and time that suits. So send the email to peter@essbiztools.com.au. Or you could make a phone call to me and we will organise the Zoom meeting. 45 minutes, complimentary meeting. 1800-232-088. Now, I can't see that I've got any questions that have come through on the chat box. But if you're watching this webinar at a time more suitable for you, and you come up with any questions, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will get back to you. Or if you are watching on the live feed on social media, you'll have to send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au. So skills attraction is important for businesses, and it's also very important for accountancy firms. And I hope that the way I've been able to present this webinar today, bringing in both accounting firms and your clients, has given you a overall appreciation of the task that confronts us all for running businesses these days, the skills attraction and retention. And the webinar next week is the end of this series that we've been presenting. Are you going to participate in delivering services to assist SMEs in the challenges confronting SMEs. That's what we've been talking about for the last 2 months in this series of webinars being delivered by ESS BIZTOOLS. This is the challenge. So that webinar is on 31 May at 12 noon AEST. To register, please go to our website. And I hope that you will be able to join us then for this complimentary webinar. So thank you for participating today. Have a great day. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you later on. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for being with us, and we'll follow you up if you have any inquiries. Thank you. Bye-bye.